What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So today, yes, we're going to talk about Reggie retiring from Nintendo. We're also going to talk a little bit about Doug Bowser, who's taking over the position, and what you can, I guess, expect from that. But yeah, there were a lot of people online yesterday talking about it. Of course, a lot of people were sad about it to see Reggie leave, but it sounds like he's leaving obviously on good terms. He's healthy and he's doing it so he can go spend more time with his family, because I assume being president of Nintendo of America probably takes a lot of your time up, so I think most of us understand. And we're also going to talk a bit about THQ Nordic and how they're not done. They're not even close to being done. They're going to keep buying studios and IPs and everything, and they've got a large amount of money to go on another shopping spree. We're going to go over that as well. Interesting stuff there. They're very quickly becoming this very large entity in the gaming space. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, hit the like button. It does help out. We're actually going to start today with an indie game that I saw get announced that looked pretty interesting, because it kind of reminds me of like Shadow of the Colossus, but 2D and with very large mechs. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's this trailer that was put out, as you're seeing here. It's called Mechstermination Force, and it's actually from the Gunman Clive creators, so pretty cool there, by the way. So if you're a fan of that series, you'll jump right in here like this. But what's interesting about this, it is like basically a 2D style game where you're running around, you're taking down these very large bosses that have weak points, and you kind of move around to get to those weak points. 1080p and 720p at 60 frames per second on the Switch, and they have 14 large varied bosses. So this is a pretty cool little idea for an indie style game here, and sometimes I'll see these and I'll pick them out and kind of show them to you guys. Kind of neat. No word on the announcement as to when it's coming out. They just say coming soon, so I would expect probably in the next few months we'll probably have it out in front of us. But kind of neat. When it does come out, I'll check it out, and maybe we'll do a video so we can check to see how it turned out. Also, we did a rumor wave yesterday on Direct Feed Games, who put out a report saying that Nintendo and Microsoft were going to be working together going forward, or sometime this year. They will basically introduce the Xbox app for the Switch, which will include support for the xCloud and Game Pass, and it sounds like Ori will be in some way published by Microsoft for the Switch. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it appears that is the rumor right now that's going on, and I've heard similar things as well, so it's not like the first time. And it sounds like Game Informer also chimed in with their own sources saying, yeah, that's actually what they've heard as well. So we have Game Informer chiming in. There'll probably be others, honestly, popping up. Eurogamer might get in there, Kotaku maybe. It does sound like we're heading towards an interesting partnership between Nintendo and Microsoft that would kind of start to turn Microsoft into almost a third party at times with some of their IPs. But, I mean, think about it. Microsoft wants to reach, what, 2 billion gamers? If they put Game Pass on the Switch, right away their subscription service will jump. There will be a lot of people who pay $10 a month to have access to games. Some of them maybe stream, some of them not. But still, a lot of people from the Switch will probably buy in, and it would obviously help the numbers. And I mean, if you have a Switch right now, would you buy Ori? I think you would. Ori is an awesome game on the Xbox that I really like, and Will of the Wisps is coming up, and if that shows up on the Switch, they're going to sell more copies straight up. And Microsoft is definitely more interested just in general in terms of software and subscriptions and services, rather than just selling a box that everything's locked to. Don't worry too much about the Xbox brand, as the system itself isn't going anywhere. It's just Microsoft wants to continue expanding and then also offer a box that you can buy from them to get all these services and the games. And if you're looking forward to Dead or Alive 6, as that's coming out March 1st, so in like a week or so now, you'll be able to play that. Well, you can actually play it today, because the demo came out yesterday on the Xbox One, and then it's also out today on the PlayStation 4. It's going to run basically through the weekend of the 25th or so. Depending on your time zone, it might be like 24th and 25th. But you have a couple days to play it, and they put a nice little list out that you're seeing here on Twitter of a lot of stuff actually that's in there. They say PlayStation and Xbox, nothing for PC for this demo, 24 playable characters, online ranked matches, lobbies, free training, command training, combo challenges, introduction to a story mode, and there's also this quest mode that apparently throws a lot of scenarios and different things at you that you can kind of learn from. So it does sound like Dead or Alive 6 is shaping up to be possibly one of the best in the franchise, and that's pretty exciting for people who are fans of the Dead or Alive series that played, I guess, Dead or Alive 5. I don't think that one went over as well as what this sounds like, so pretty cool stuff. I'm also glad they're not necessarily calling it a beta and it just is a demo, because the beta is usually, the idea of a beta is that the user base will test it and report bugs and help them out. That game's out in like, what, a week after that comes out, or not even 4 days, so they're not changing anything anyway. This is just strictly a demo so that people can try it out and see what they think. And with some of the quick news out of the way, guys, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with Reggie retiring, or at least in a few months. In April, he'll be kind of leaving Nintendo to pretty much basically live his life, essentially, is what he described. He put out an entire message on Twitter. It's about 2.5 minutes, but it was a really well-done message thanking fans and explaining what's happening, and that he's pretty much moving on to spend time with his family, his friends, and really just enjoy retirement. I mean, he's worked pretty hard, so here he is now. He gets to kind of ride off in the sunset, and hey, when a new Nintendo game comes out, I'm sure he'll get it sent to him, and he can actually, you know, just kind of hang out and play it at home. That's pretty cool to hear all about that he's going to be leaving healthy and happy, and no issues or anything at Nintendo, nothing like that. So cool to see that. Of course, Reggie's been with Nintendo for a bit. 2003, he joined them as executive vice president of sales and marketing, and then I think a lot of people remember all the different memes that he's pretty much helped to culture and put online, essentially, from lines and anything he said in different pressers. For example, 2004, he's still kind of new, right, to Nintendo in the sales and marketing division, and he comes out on stage to introduce the DS and everything, and this is what he opens with.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games.
Yeah, I mean, that's, at that point, a lot of people said, oh, this Reggie guy is, we'll be watching him. That's pretty good stuff right there to start off a presentation at E3 in 2004, where you're going to be showing off the DS. So, fast forward, 2006, becomes the president of Nintendo of America, and he actually replaced Tatsumi Kimishima, so consider that as well. And there he is now as the president, and from there, he of course helped to work with the Wii and the Wii U technically, but also the DS and 3DS and everything. So there was a lot of success and then learning experience as well. And then, of course, the Switch takes off. So Reggie has had a pretty storied history at Nintendo for Nintendo of America. And it's been a lot of fun, obviously. The thing I liked about Reggie is he has great stage presence, first of all. When we saw all three of them come together, Phil Spencer, Shawn Layden, and Reggie during the entire presentation for the Video Game Awards, you could tell Reggie was kind of on another level from those guys. He's very good in front of the camera. He's very good in front of large crowds of people, and he has no problem kind of working towards the camera, and he leans into the jokes heavily. He loves the jokes. The Reginator, you know, my body is ready, everything. He has a good time with it, and it's pretty cool to see that, and of course he threw a lot of those into his farewell message, so he's still all in with the fan service, which is great. So it's cool to see all of that, and I am happy that he gets to kind of go away and now spend time with his family. Of course, he'll be missed to see him out in Nintendo Directs or on stage at times, so yes, but now we can kind of look forward to Doug Bowser, and I did see, you know, a little concern there, you know, oh, Doug Bowser, he's going to run Nintendo of America now, he's going to be the president? Yes, and here's the thing. Doug Bowser joined Nintendo in 2015, so he hasn't been there for super long or anything, or like 4 years or so, and he worked in sales and marketing. He's actually was a senior executive vice president, sales and marketing, and he actually had that promotion in 2016, which was around the time that they had to start thinking about marketing and promoting the Switch. So, because he had a large hand in marketing the Switch, I think he's done a pretty good job for his time there in charge of that division, and it kind of makes sense for him to, well, start maybe climbing the ladder there, and of course they hire from within, and his last name is Bowser, so at least everything kind of lines up there at least. I think they're going to be fine with Doug Bowser there. I think us as gamers are going to be fine. I think he's going to do a good job there, and after seeing what him and of course others, but definitely him in kind of the leadership role there, managed to do with marketing the Switch after the disaster that was marketing the Wii U years prior, he seemed to kind of work into that role, be hired by Nintendo, and did a great job really telling people what the point of buying the Switch was, as we're seeing now. So it makes sense. I'm excited to see what Doug Bowser can do. I know a lot of people really, really liked Reggie, myself included, but sometimes having a bit of a shake-up and a change can have some interesting results. So we'll see what happens here going forward, but I guess congratulations to Reggie on the retirement, and can enjoy time with his family and friends and everything, and go play some Nintendo games at home even. Next up, I want to quickly take a look at a job listing from Retro Studios. This was actually pointed out to me and sent over by a user on Twitter as a viewer, Mikey. Thanks to Mikey for pointing this out. You're seeing the job listing here. I don't think it's anything that's like revolutionary or is like, whoa, what's Retro Studios doing with this? But it does have a few questions and maybe it answers a few things. So here is the contract product tester. This was actually posted on the 20th of February. So 2 days ago, this was posted. It is a contract position, but it appears to be designed for a person to find bugs in a product or a game, I guess. That would be most likely what it is from Retro Studios, and to pretty much relay that to the development team, which would mean that either Retro Studios has made more progress on Metroid Prime 4 than people were thinking, or there's another project that they're working on outside of Metroid Prime 4. Because, of course, there's been a lot of questions about what has Retro Studios been doing this whole time. And if they were looking to show something at E3 and then, of course, work into the holiday season with a game release, they would probably do some testing now as they kind of get to the finish line with it and maybe bring someone in, maybe somebody left and they have to fill the position. They are looking for someone who has quite a bit of experience in pretty much the bug testing and quality assurance category, so they're not looking for anyone brand new. Interesting, though, to see this because either there is something to test with Metroid Prime 4 already. I mean, we kind of very recently heard that they're taking over production of it, or they have something else that they're working on that they're going to be ready to show in a bit. Interesting nonetheless. So either Metroid Prime 4 is moving along swiftly, or there's something else out there. We'll see. Next up, let's talk about Anthem. It's out today. I'm going to pick it up on the Xbox One. It's BioWare. I do like BioWare. I wanted to check this game out just to see for myself, but the reviews came out for it, and it does not look good. It looks like it is, it's going to score fairly low for a BioWare game, and on Metacritic at this time, it's a 63. Earlier in the day, yesterday, it was a 67, so it has done nothing but drop. IGN, for example, gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It is fairly low for a big-budget, a BioWare-style game that EA, of course, is publishing and putting out there and everything. And I have a bit of a concern about BioWare at this point. Of course, we know that there is a Dragon Age game out there in development. They haven't necessarily named it or anything. We kind of saw it, and that was it. But we do know at least something's being worked on. However, EA is not... They're not a stranger to moving projects around and scattering it all over the place. There are other studios. I'm a little concerned about BioWare right now because EA has expectations to sell about 6 million copies or so by the end of March for Anthem. And while I think the marketing from Microsoft and stuff will, of course, help, these review scores probably are not going to help it any. Now, a lot of the reviews tend to point out kind of lacking content in pretty much the ride up to the end game. And unfortunately, technical issues like load times and everything have not helped. And people are already pointing out that there is a bit of a grind to get kind of cosmetic and armor pieces and everything. So unfortunately, it seems that BioWare, again, is being, of course, pushed by EA to do these live service-esque things, but it's still BioWare who decided with some of these mechanics and world designs that seem to be really hurting it. Again, I'm going to play it for myself and probably talk about it over the podcast. It is a longer game to get to the end game, which is fine, and it is a live service, which means, of course, it's probably launched with lacking content, but will be built up over time. I have to say, these live services, they're getting kind of old. In our last bit of news, let's talk about THQ Nordic, who has been rapidly growing. Now, they've been growing by pretty much grabbing IPs and studios, stuff all over the place, right? We just talked about how they grabbed, Warhorse Studios. They, of course, have picked up things like Kingdoms of Amalur, Time Splitters, Second Sight. Of course, they have their Darksider series as well. They just released, of course, Sphinx, and they are all over the place right now, releasing tons of games. We've even heard that they have, 77 games in development right now, which about 45 of those or so are unannounced. They're not messing around right now. So what do you do if you're THQ Nordic? You go raise a bunch of money so you can buy more stuff. I'm not kidding. They actually raised over $200 million the other day. And the way they did that was they apparently released 11 million new Class B shares, and investors pretty much jumped all over that. Yes, they bought in, and there you go. THQ Nordic all of a sudden turns around. There's a pile of $225 million behind them. And then what do they say they're going to do? Well, this is what they said. Finance new acquisitions of franchises, game development studios, or other assets which complement the operations, and to enable a higher rate of investment in the development of the company. So, of course, this is interesting because they basically just told us, we got a bunch of money, we're gonna go buy some more stuff, we'll see what we can come up with. So they're just gonna go, go out to the store, get some new IPs and come back with them and probably remaster them to then get their investment back. So if there are any IPs out there, or just in studios even, just kind of hanging out there, and THQ Nordic looks over and says, that one looks good, they'll go over and I guess make an offer and see if they can grab them. So if there is a studio that is struggling, if there's an IP that has been kind of buried for a while, look out for THQ Nordic. Keep an eye out for the news for them, because they might already have plans for that money. They might have already reached out to some places, see what they can pick up, because they issued these shares and got the money right away. So they probably knew what they already wanted to buy ahead of time. Interesting stuff, and I'll keep you guys up to date to see if there's any big blockbuster, purchases by THQ Nordic, especially if it's an older game or series that a lot of people want to see come back. Because THQ Nordic, they'll remaster it and they'll put it on all the systems out of nowhere. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Reggie leaving Nintendo, are you sad to see him go, are you happy that he gets to go and spend time with his family and friends and everything? And then what do you think about Doug Bowser taking over? It should be in April or so. He's going to be taking over the reins ahead of E3, so he'll be, I guess, part of the Direct as somebody talking, as the big leadership role for Nintendo of America. Let me know what you think about that one. The way you think about THQ Nordic, what do you want to see them buy with this big pile of money that they now have? Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time.